Hi, I'm Todd Wente, and this is Path for Progress for March 10th, 2025. Having a hard time keeping track of days. They're going by so fast. This morning, as I'm here in my mobile office, getting ready to go into my brick and mortar office. Pointed a little differently today. We've had daylight savings time, so the sun's coming up in a different spot, and it was really hard to see. I was thinking about doing this with my sunglasses on. And then decided, no, I'm not sure I can do that. So instead, I'm facing a different direction, and we got the sun coming in from the behind instead of in front. I'm not sure that has anything to do with today's recording, but I figured I'd just, it's on my mind, so I'd share it. The other thing that's been on my mind a lot in the last 24, 48 hours is the way that I define myself. I read a book by Clayton Christensen several years ago, and it said, "How will you judge your life? How will you measure your life?" I think is the name of the book. Very interesting book. It was he. I think it's one of the few books that he's ever written, and it was fascinating to get a glimpse into his experience, his life, the way that his process ran. And really to be able to understand a little bit about his mental process for trying to figure out what all of these different measures, grades and money and accomplishment and all these other kinds of things, what all of those meant for how you measure your life. When we talk about effectiveness in a car, we can talk about speed, we can talk about safety, we can talk about resale value, we can talk about cost per mile of ownership or total cost of ownership. There are lots of ways that we can define a car, and depending on the way that we define the car or the milestone that we're using, we can come up with lots of different cars that are the best car. We can talk about, when we talk about, all kinds of things. Performance of an investment. Is the performance of an investment over a short period or a long period? And that can make a dramatic difference in whether or not we see one investment as a better one or a worse one. We can measure those things. And we can do a lot of the same kinds of things with initiatives that we do at work. We can say, oh, well, this initiative resulted in a 5% improvement in employee satisfaction, or a 6% improvement in overall revenue, or a 3% improvement in controllable expenditures. I mean, we can do lots of different things. We have measures for lots of different areas, but for life, we don't really have much in the way of that. Along with that idea of how do we measure our life, I've been thinking a lot about how I define myself, because I think those two are, for me at least, are very inextricably connected. How I define myself, what I see as my primary identity, or as the critical pieces of my identity, become a very powerful indication of how I'm going to then measure my life. If my way of identifying or of defining myself is based on the things that I lack, somehow I have the feeling that it doesn't matter whether or not I do good things, because I will always define myself by what is missing. And I have spent a lot of my life defining myself by what I'm not. I'm not making more money. I'm not able to do things for my family or my children the way that I want to. I'm not getting roles in theater the way that I wish I would. I'm not having the kind of impact in the world that I thought I would. I'm not retired, and I'm 55. I'm not financially independent. I'm not. All of these things. It's very easy to define ourselves. Sorry, let me rephrase. It's been very easy for me and very common for me to define myself by what I am not. I'm trying to learn because of that, to define myself by what I am. I am an individual who tries. I am an individual who is not satisfied with saying, well, I did the best, I'll let it go. But rather I say I'm an individual who looks for ways to improve. I've been trying to define myself by recognizing the effort and the accomplishments that have happened because of it. I've been able to have tremendous opportunities as a result of my efforts. So there's some real accomplishment there, even if those accomplishments don't translate into very specific or very particular kinds of recognition. It's easy to define ourselves. It's been easy for me to define myself by what I am not, by my failings, by my illnesses, by the ways in which I view myself as incomplete or imperfect. I will always be those things. But I'm learning to define myself and identify with the ways in which I am striving to be better. It's hard. Sometimes it's very hard. But so far it seems to be working. I hope that that is something that can be useful for you today. And I wish you all the best. This is Todd Wente for Path to Progress. Nullum Diem. We'll see you next time.